How many days out?
6. No. Yeah. 6.
How do you feel?
Oh, like I've only been out of bed an hour and now I've got a camera in my face.
Better.
Yeah, it's so much better, thank you.
Any goals for the week? Plans?
No.
No.
Prioritise food, water, supplements, sleep, and mobility. Stretch, stay mobile. That's about it.
What about cock? Prioritise cock?
To prioritise penis. Oh, cock.
Catch you in a few hours?
Catch me outside, how about that? What do you want, event by event?
Yeah.
Like relatively quickly?
What was the day? Like, how do you feel going in? And
I felt off going in, admittedly, but you're going to feel off the back of a 6-week prep and a little bit of a stressful week beforehand, work-wise and family-wise, but I don't really need to go into that. Pass me that tacky bag. Stick that on top because I've still got some more stuff to put in that. I need to get some towels and flannels and bits and pieces. For this competition, I will have 4 pairs of shoes. Yeah. Well, maybe 5. I might go in my Crocs. I'll need my boots for the truck pull. I haven't had enough time to use rock climbing shoes and trial them out and buy the right size and this, that and the other, because I've only had 2 exposures to a truck, and then I had to play on the track as well and overloaded. But on the track I used, can't remember what shoes I was wearing for that. I think I was in my boots for that as well, wasn't I? And then pulling the truck twice, pulled the truck in my boots and went all right. So I'm not going to risk trying something new on the day, so boots. First event was good, just a little bit light. The truck, I don't know really what the truck weighed, but it had like 4-ton bags and it was a 6-wheeler. And I just don't like the idea of having to sprint with a lorry behind you, because it defeats the point of being strong at that point. Like, it's how fast you can move. And I haven't spent the last year coming back into strongman to be like fast. I just don't like it when strength competitions become a competition about speed. Doesn't need to be static lifting, but like, especially when it's opens level, like you'd want it to be heavy. Like, a good opens level event is an event where not the entire field can't complete it. Yeah, I threw the rope out the way and ended up like full blown sprinting with it. And naturally, having not spent a lot of time over the last year training to be really fast, and spending all that time training to be really strong, meant that, although it was a quick run that I'd done with the truck, it was 2 seconds short of first place, and that 2 seconds short was enough to put me in 6th off the first event, which is not great. But the one thing I had in the back of my head is I was second from last off the first event at Lincolnshire's, and I won that comp. So starting on the back foot is something that I'm familiar with, and I knew that I had good events coming up. For the log and for the Atlas Stones, I'll be wearing my Ollie shoes. The Ollie shoes, better platforms to lift off of, more stable. Car deadlift, and yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that did feel heavier on the day, which was good, and that was the case for everyone, because where we'd practiced with it, where it lives in Boston, the car deadlift is on gravel, and I don't know whether it's because it's on concrete or the way they load it or what, but it was just heavier on the day. Like, I touched all of the other categories' weights warming up with the car before eventually going out. I didn't use the barbells that were set aside to warm up. So when I did the Inters weight, which was 270, that felt more like the 310 on the gravel that we'd previously practiced. So knowing that it was going up to 310 for the opens meant that it was heavier. So the keg loading, whatever, I can't remember what they're called anymore. Metcons written on them. Couldn't even remember what they were called. Why am I wearing these? Because these also offer a little bit of a heel, but have some flex. They're CrossFit shoes, is what they are, I think.
What are you using that one for?
Kegs, loading, being quick. 12 reps, joint first place. And that was the only event, and I was the only person to put a chink in Luke Ogborn's perfect score by matching him on reps on that one. So that obviously with 6 events, the perfect score would be 60 points. He got 59.5 because we shared points on that event. It's the only thing I could get near him on, but I was the only person to do it, so it made me feel better. And then Converse for the car deadlift. I'm not going to wear my floppy Hyper KOs for the deadlift because it's on cobbles, and having been to where we're going to compete last week, I had a little look. The cobbles are quite slippy and there is literally nothing left on the soles of these. These are wearing shoes without wearing shoes. Great for powerlifting, or if I was on like a rubber floor, like a standard deadlift platform. But these have a little bit more left on them. So, and I've done some good deadlifts in these. All my shoes are old and knackered, but I have this, I don't know if it's a problem, but I'm rather sentimental about my kit. I won Lincolnshires in these, so I can't get rid of them until they're completely unusable. Log.
That was weird, wasn't it? Where it was set up.
Yeah, the setup was weird, but I never gripe about shitty setups because everyone has to deal with the same thing. Yeah. There was no disparity from one log to the other either. The logs were the same, the setup was the same. It was just a bit rickety on unlevel floor with a board on top and then mats, so it felt unstable, but everyone was in the same boat. Luckily for me, because of my performance on the deadlift, it meant that I was in the last pairing with Luke going out for log. Someone had already done 4 reps, someone had already done 5 reps, so I knew that placing 3rd on that event would be enough to keep me in second, but also placing 2nd on that event. So I didn't know whether Luke was going to do 5 reps to be joint first, or whether he'd do 6 points and then 6 reps, and that would mean that I think it was Carter did the 5, that would put him in second, or Thomas on 4 reps. So I knew 4 reps for me would keep me in second. So I did 4 reps with plenty of time to spare. I think I had about 15 seconds where I could have done a 5th, and stood and weighed it up in my head momentarily, like, how do my knees feel? Should I just go for the 5th to push my points on even more? Hindsight, kind of wish I had, but I didn't feel like I needed to at the time, and my knees felt great, so I just left it at 4 because it wasn't going to get me any closer to Luke. It wasn't going to put me in a position where I could potentially overtake Luke. It would have just secured me in second place even more, but 4th place, 4 reps secured me in second place anyway. So I originally thought that my Nike Hyper KOs, my deadlift shoes, were fucked beyond belief and unusable, but I've done 2 comps in them since. I mean, look at the fucking state of these. These are gone, really. Toe on them is going, like, but every big deadlift I've ever done has been done in these. These are like legendary. I've had these for, legendary to me. I've had these for 11, 12 years, maybe longer. So there's still plenty of life in them yet, but just not in strongman. Back toss.
Slight frustration with that one?
First frustration of the day, yeah. I don't mind it when comps change events. Sometimes it happens where you get to a comp and they plan for a big event and something happens, like they plan for a truck pull and then the person that they were relying on with the truck doesn't turn up or is sick or whatever, and now they haven't got a truck, so they'll just change it to like farmer's walk or something on the day. Everyone's in the same boat there, no one's trained for it probably, and you just go with the flow. I also don't mind it if they make it heavier on the day, because the strongest people will still always win, and it is a strength competition. I fucking hate it when comps make it so it's lighter. It's the first time I've ever experienced it, just wildly frustrating, because I'd been prepping for a slightly heavier set of bags for the sandbag toss, and they decided that they, for whatever reason, I think it was because they didn't have the correct bags, that it had to be the lighter set of bags, which is what the Inters did, which basically guarantees that the whole pack of opens are now capable of throwing all of the bags over, and it's now just a game of who can do it the quickest. And once again, I've spent the last year getting strong, not necessarily fast, and as you try to do something quickly, you run the risk of making mistakes, and to my frustration, I made a mistake on, I think it was the third bag. Not surprisingly enough, it was the only bag that was different from the rest. It was a Cerberus bag, where the other bags were strength register bags, but hey ho, mistakes happen, it is what it is. I wasn't that worried about that as a mistake either. I recovered from it very, very quickly, and lost some points, but not many. I think that knocked me from second down into third, but I was only like a point or so, or even 0.5 of a point off second, so I knew I could quite quickly pull that point back, especially with more good events coming up. Yeah, the lace is frayed on these, so I need to get some electrical tape on that and tape that up. Do you want that? That bag?
After that was kegs, wasn't it?
The keg. Yeah. So
There was a bit of hoo-ha before though.
there was a few bits. I don't want to make like excuses, but it's just the reality of the situation. So I heard straight away that originally we were meant to be doing 130 kilo kegs, so you're expecting a slog. And then we find out that it's like best part 100 kilo kegs, much lighter, so now it's a bit more of a speed event. So I took myself away to do a couple of sprints to see how my knees felt and sort of warm my shins up a little bit, and I quite quickly realised I was moving well. I was moving really fast. I had a lot of bounce in my step. My knees felt completely pain-free, which boded well to be able to just plough through those 3 kegs really quickly and make light work of it, and hopefully put out a really good time. My name got called alongside the gentleman that I was competing with, ready to go out, and I knew that this was an opportunity to make up points. So I was getting myself into a very focused mindset, ready to go, and then there was an incident with the keg, the skip that I was aligned up with. So they was using the skips as wheelbarrows, and the skip actually broke. The skips tip. They're like wheelbarrow setups and they tip. Something had broke and the skip tipped. The geezer had loaded them all, and then something broke on the actual skip itself and it tipped. So then there was a good sort of 20-minute break whilst they tried to work out what they were going to do, how they were going to do it, and they ratchet strapped them all together, and I'm kind of looking at it thinking, is that going to happen to me? But we just cracked on. So I walked out, there was loads of fucking stones and shit on the floor, so I kicked a lot of them out of the way, ready to go, and got myself focused, ready to go, and I'm thinking about trying to make up points, trying to move as fast as humanly possible. Again, the kegs being a lot lighter, need to capitalise on that, because I know the more athletic, dare I say weaker open lads would really catch some points on that and nick some points back, so I needed to make sure I was in the mix with them. So I picked up the keg, came out like the absolute fucking clappers, was absolutely flying with the first keg, and then completely mistimed throwing the keg into the skip and actually hit the skip, which knocked a little bit of wind out of me, which was frustrating. I then fumbled the keg a couple of times, I think just pure adrenaline and jostling and whatever. I did smash my hand as well, which is just wonderful. Did eventually get that keg into the skip. And what's interesting, and although that whole experience was the first time I've really felt a proper disaster in competition, it was nice to feel that in a way, nice to experience that. Oftentimes we talk about experiences and people think about positive experiences at competition or when small mistakes happen like with the sandbag, but those huge disasters like that is a whole different gravy, not just how you respond to it in the moment, but also how you respond to it afterwards. But I eventually managed to get the other 2 kegs in. I was completely blowing out my arse. Because my breathing had changed, like I wasn't regulating my breathing at all. I was panicking, my breathing had got shallow. It was just a mess. The whole thing was a mess. And I placed 9th in that event, and it cost me big points, taking me then from 3rd down into 5th, which was a shitter. But I composed myself, just didn't allow myself to get emotionally all involved. Just let my heart rate calm down. Shit. A lot. So on the outside, I have gum shields or mouth guards, pair of sunnies, which I haven't looked to see if they're in there, but they are. My headphones, which are there, and they're only out because I need to charge them. And then in this front pocket, I have liquids, Abenaki. For my knees, some hand sanitizer. BO immobilizer, because ain't nobody want that. It start to stink, it is what it is. Some grip jizz. And some BioFreeze for afterwards. And then in this top pocket I have patella tendon straps that I'm not going to pull out, and my 12-year-old wrist wraps that are a little bit softer than a normal wrist wrap, so they're better for log. This pocket I have my tacky bag, which has WD-40 and tacky in it, and I need to get some towels for that as well. And then I have socks, straps, and some spare stuff at the bottom there, so spare long socks, spare wrist wraps, some stiffer ones, and some softer elbow sleeves, some spare ones. And to be honest, the spare stuff isn't obviously for me, it's for like any of my clients or any of the members from the gym that are competing at the weekend that have forgot stuff. I've got my elbow sleeves and I've got something. It's better than nothing, so I'll give them mine. Same with the wrist wraps. And I've got bands in here, selection of bands. I've got my underbelt, I've got my knee sleeves, got my elbow sleeves, and then obviously I've got my SBD overbelt that'll go in my shoe bag with all 4 pairs of shoes that I'm going to take. It's probably stuff that I've forgotten. I have got it on my phone though. And then just looked onto the Strength Register website to see how many points that cost me, and basically in my head then I was thinking, do I, like, worst case scenario, I'm probably not going to podium now because I'm in 5th and I'm probably points wise miles off the podium because that was such a shit show of a performance. I just need to finish strong and make sure that I get all 5 stones onto the platforms, even if it means just doing them at my own pace, nice and steady, and just ticking those off. And then, like, if that means I move into 4th, then great. If it means I move down to 6th because I've gone slow, then whatever. When I opened Strength Register, I realised that there was actually I think there was half a point's difference between me and 4th, a point's difference between me and 3rd, and only a point and a half between me and 2nd, I think, something like that. The points were really, really close. And that actually meant that if I put a really good performance out on stones, and I beat all of those lads around me, other than Luke, because he was just in a league of his own, if I beat all of those lads, there's a chance that I get back there's a high chance I get back onto the podium in 3rd, and a possibility, depending on how their performances go, that I could have even nicked 2nd, and clawed it back. So that then refocuses you, and then I lock back in, managed to deliver. Stones I'm confident with, you know, it's a strength test, you need to be strong to deliver on that. Managed to put out a really good performance, came 2nd on that, just behind Luke, and that was enough points to bring me back into the podium, and I finished in 3rd place. I was only a point off 2nd, so yeah, that was I was happy to have pulled it back after such a disaster. Little frustrating because I know in terms of ability, I was, you know, worthy of that 2nd place spot, but just, you know, it doesn't matter how good you are, you know, in terms of your ability. What matters is your performance on the day, and my performance on the day was good enough for 3rd place and 3rd place only. So most important thing now really is just to get some towels. Got loads of WD-40, take the tacky off. 2 different types of tacky as well. I like Team Affinity's tacky. I really like their tacky actually. And I've got their warm weather and their cool weather. And to be honest, the cool weather is the one we pretty much use all of the time, but it is also meant to be hot this weekend. So we'll just open both and make a decision. So yeah, very well prepared when it comes to tacky. No sleeves, no stone sleeves this time. I will get some gaffer tape, but that won't be for me, that'll be for the other guys if they run out or need some, because a few of them are wearing stone sleeves and stuff. I just bare back and rip stones now. I don't wear anything. The only thing I will do is I'll put some grip jizz on my forearms first, because the chalk and the alcohol will dry my arms out if they're sweating, and then I put the tacky over the top.
Are you taking anything from this competition into your next one?
Yeah, quite a bit. Being more anal about comp specificity, so making sure that I prepare for everything. One thing I hadn't done a lot of in training, I didn't have a long prep, but I didn't take time to run kegs and load them. I just run kegs and worked on fitness. So that cost me. Just being wildly unprepared, my proprioception, my skill of loading, running and then loading kegs, I just hadn't practiced it. So I was inevitably blagging it and fluking it, and it didn't work. You can't do that at that level in strongman, especially when circumstances change. Maybe with the 130 kegs, things would have been different because it's just slower. But that's hindsight. It doesn't really matter now. So being more specific, obviously having a longer prep, there's nothing I could have done about that. But always making sure that I've got a long prep. If I can help it, I never really want to do like a short prep ever again, unless I'm confident that like the events that are in there are events that I've already been practicing for a while and I've just entered short, but I've already been prepping, if that makes sense. So it's just a case of refining for those 6-week period. And I won't like let comps overlap. So although I had a 6-week prep, I did have European deadlift championships in the middle of that 6 weeks. So
What, and a week before you had the one before? Or
I had the grit. Oh, British. Yeah, British at the start of the 6 weeks. So I had that to recover from. Then Europeans 3 weeks in. And then a grit competition, which had an impact on tendons and bits and pieces, but not awful. And then I had a tattoo as well, which, you know, just meant I'd lost training here and there because of recovery and not being able to use my hand because of the tattoo. There's a few things in there. It makes it sound like I'm making excuses. I'm really not.
No, but it was last minute.
Yeah. So to deliver and get third place, I would say deliver a good performance, but it wasn't. It was a performance that you'd expect off a short, sketchy prep. But to still manage to get on the podium sort of, for me, proves that I'm worthy of being an Opens athlete. But I explained it to my mum that there are 3 tiers of Open strongman. Tier 1 is like your car park comp Opens. Tier 2 are like the Opens that do qualifiers and start knocking on the door of Ultimates and Giants Live. And then Tier 3, at the bottom of that tier, you've got your Giants Live competitors. At the top of that tier, World's Strongest Man, Arnold and Rogue. At the moment, I'm in that bottom tier, but I'm towards the top of that bottom tier, and I'm going to now work to try and get myself into that second tier and rub shoulders with lads like Luke that are definitely second tier Opens that are challenging for like qualifiers and so on. So that's the next step, and then maybe one day, who knows, get to the bottom of that third tier. I should think that'll probably be me, to be fair. So yeah, I'll be taking that into account. I'll also be taking into account much better conditioning. I need to get really, really fit, even though my next competition doesn't require huge levels of fitness. We've got like 2 moving events, but they're quite heavy. But even still, faster, fitter, better. That would be just better for me in general, and it will also help my recovery quite a lot anyway. That's another big one. So preparedness and fitness and just mobility in general is a big one, and then obviously bigger and stronger. But that goes without saying, I suppose. That's
how long
ongoing.
have you got until the next one?
11 weeks. Yeah.
When do you start prep for that?
Monday. Yeah, and realistically, like the first block, certainly the first 4 weeks, will just be familiarization and fitness. You know, the strength will be building, but I need to recover first for the next couple of weeks and ease my body back into it.
What are the events for the new one?
We have 130 kilo log for reps. We have 140 kilo farmers, 320 kilo barbell deadlift, standard height. For reps, obviously inside 60 seconds, 150 kilo sandbag carry, and 170 kilo Atlas stone over a yoke or over a bar for reps. I've entered that today, and I've asked for specifics on like the bar height of the yoke, whether it's one sandbag. It says 30 meters. Is it 30 meters straight, or is it 15 meters turn and come back? And the same for the farmers. Is the farmers 30 meters straight or 15 meters drop turn? So we'll find out. I don't think there's anything else I need to pack, other than obviously fluids and food and stuff like that, which we'll leave close to the time. Got lifting straps. I'll probably put spare lifting straps in for other people, just in case. Just be as prepared as you possibly can. Leave no stone unturned and no gaps. If you're entering a competition, especially if you're newer to the sport, like if you're entering a competition, that competition's in 6 months' time. Start prep now. Start familiarization now. Like if you've got to run a 100-kilo sandbag, and you know that's heavy for you, then start running 50-kilo sandbags now. Get yourself fit running sandbags now, and then you know after 2 or 3 weeks of running a 50-kilo bag, run a 60, run a 70, run an 80, build that up, and then eventually when you get like 8 weeks out or 6 weeks out and you really start pushing things on, then you can start loading that 100-kilo bag and get to work on it, and you'll be more than capable, strong enough and fit enough to be able to do it by then. So spending time familiarization, making sure you've got comp specifics. Don't be scared to ask the people that are running the comp the specifics that you need, and if you're going to do that, try to do that in one hit, because I know it definitely annoys the people that run the comps when you message them every fucking week asking them questions, where like I've just done, look at what you see, what questions do you have about the specifics, let that sit for a couple of weeks, and then just hit them with one big message like, hey, what's this height for this, what's the weight for this, what's the distance for that, and blah 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 blah. Because then you get all your answers, you can leave them alone, and you can then just crack straight on with your prep and get yourself as prepared as humanly possible. It means you're going to be less nervous on the day. It also means if things change, you're probably going to be ready for that, you know, as ready as you can be. But we also recognize that when things change, everyone's in the same boat. Like, you know, it's not necessarily like shit for you, it changes for everyone, so it's fine.
What are you training Monday?
Don't actually know yet, probably deadlifts. Yeah, time to get back in the suit and try again.
Oh really?
Yeah, suited deadlifts, 320 kilo suited deadlifts is what we're going to be doing in comp. So I've got 11 weeks to figure this fucking suit out.
Wow.
I'm not a suited deadlifter at all, but I haven't given it enough time. So getting in it week in, week out will make the difference. I think I'll figure it out.
We'll see you Monday then.
See you Monday then. Cheers, everyone.
Gotta sign out.
Peace, love, and cake.
When we were made, there was no exit there.
Let's give them a round of applause. Down, down, pitch,
We were tangled up like branches in a flower. I come as a blade, a sacred guardian. So you keep me sharp in
Come on, Ben! Let's go, Ben! Real nice, let's go! That's it, Ben! Come on, Ben! You've got this!
Really cool people saying this competition is amazing. Thank you to everyone that's come out to watch us. And a big shout out, this is going to be loud, I apologise. A big shout out to Prevail.
Everyone who has a WD-40 card, let's do a circle jerk.
Our men's Auburn Boston Strongest 2025, sponsored by Independent Grab. Our third Pierce competitor is Ben Stizzy. Again, another fantastic. Supportive.